Dun dun dun! It's only been a year since my last video. Sorry to everyone who subscribed and just got absolutely no content for it. I am back though. Fear's back, finally. More Homeworld Remastered, huh? Yes I am. Gonna be playing more of that. It's my favourite game. We are no longer on 2.3 because we're so far in the future, this is 2.4, but this time the mod and all that kind of stuff is not really going to matter, because I'm going to show you today, I'm going to show you a build that you can play as Hiigaran. You can bring this build online, and you can probably pick up wins with it. I saw that there were no videos or tutorials really anywhere that demonstrated very user-friendly, easy to pick up builds. And there was no real explanation that was with those builds if they were available. So, this is going to be 2-patch, double interceptor into destroyer. Now, what the hell did I just say? If you're a new player, that might not have made sense, so I'll go over it. 2-patch refers to the amount of RU patches I'm going to be saturating with resource collectors. So this is my main, and this is my natural. I opened the game by queuing up 4 and 3 collectors, and, well, it's actually 2 and 4, wasn't it? I meant to do 3, 3. I'm opening with a scout, and I have idle collectors because I'm talking while playing. You don't want idle collectors, there's no reason to do that. I'm going to send my scout off immediately to go pick up information for me, because I don't want to be surprised by what my opponent's doing. Now this game, it's just an AI, so there's basically no chance that I'm going to lose. There's no chance that it's going to do anything surprising, but I'm just sending the scout out as a demonstration of what you should be doing.
Group 1 reporting. Order cancelled. Reporting for duty.
Alright, queuing up fighter facility now on the carrier. Why did I start it now? Honestly, it doesn't matter too much. In fact, it may have been a little tiny bit early. As you can see, I've just been blocked. Probably, if I had this amount of RUs again, I might have been able to finish another collector. But this is really just a demonstration of how easy this build is to pull off, because you'll see it's actually pretty threatening even with sloppy mistakes like that. We're not doing anything super hardcore, we're just demonstrating a very easy to pick up build. So now that the research module on my mothership is done, I'm going to queue up a fighter facility on her as well. I don't want this to be idle, so I'm going to just build another collector, because I've got nothing else to do with my time on the mothership, for now. And, you know, I just built another collector, so where am I going to send him? Am I going to send him here? It is closer, sure. Or am I going to send him here? Well, I'm going to send him over here, because I want my collectors to be as evenly spread out as possible. Because otherwise you get people queuing up to try and harvest from asteroids and things like that, and it just slows you down quite a lot. So here we go, I'm on 6-6. This is actually what I'd consider to be a minimal economy. Fighter facility is just done, gonna queue up fighters here. This is a minimal economy. If you're playing a game online, you really just want to have 6-6 as your minimum. Better than that is probably 7-7, and comfortable is probably 8-8. Here I am though, I'm on 6-7, so this is quite lean still. Uh-huh. Fighter facility just finished on the mothership, so I'm gonna queue up fighters on her as well. Now, what am I doing in this launch manager? Well, I'm clicking stay docked on both of my production ships because I don't really want to reveal how many fighters I have until I'm ready to take a fight. And this build is fairly passive for the first few minutes of the game. I'm really not going to make any push out, I'm not going to try and do anything fancy. I'm just going to be building up my forces until I'm ready to push out with the destroyer, which is the core of this build. The destroyer is the core. Now, why is int plus destroyer a good composition? Well, interceptors cover strike very well. They can handle corvettes if you have enough of them, and they absolutely massacre fighters. I mean, that's what they're intended to do. So strike is less of an issue, and the only thing destroyers are actually really weak against are strike and battle cruisers. And destroyers, they build a lot faster than battle cruisers. I'm going to be able to hit my opponent way before he's able to get a battle cruiser, even if he's trying to get one quite quickly. Now, there is a build out there that rushes battle cruisers very fast. If I scouted that with my scouts, if I scouted that with my scouts, I would switch away from this build into something more aggressive. But it's just an AI, and in most games you're not going to see very fast battle cruisers.
Research paused. Group 1 reporting.
I'm just mining away, mining away. Honestly, if this was what I saw from my opponent, I would cut interceptors here and make more collectors, because it doesn't look like he's ready to attack me.
Complete.
But I'm going to stick with my build, just because this is a demonstration. Now, I've cut interceptors on my carrier. Why have I done that? Because I want to build a mobile refinery.
Interceptor squadron complete.
Specifically, I'm doing this because I want to free up my mothership so she can push across the map. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of a switcheroo here. I'm going to send the mobile refinery. Oh, I'm going to leave the mobile refinery here and send my carrier over to here, so that both the patches still have RU drop-offs next to them, but the mothership is free to do whatever she wants to do. I'm just keeping a sneaky eye on my opponent. Again, does not matter in this game, it's just an AI.
Strike group coordinates locked in. Ready. Strike group coordinates locked in.
Pushing out now.
Standing by. Confirmed. Interceptor squadron complete. New heading set. Mobile refinery.
Mobile refinery, there he is.
New upgrades available.
Let's get back to making these. Aha! So now I can build destroyers. I'm going to cancel whatever I was building and immediately start queuing up destroyers. My carrier is going to replace my mothership's position. Oh, I just selected that. My carrier is going to replace my mothership's position at the main.
Destination locked in.
Mobile refinery. Refinery? What the hell is that? Refinery is going to be left behind at the natural.
Standing by. Strike group moving into position.
Also, if this was my opponent, I would think that I'm in a great spot because he's made way too many collectors on his main. This is really, really too many. Like, I can see one waiting. There's this one.
Interceptor squadron.
There's these two are in a queue now for the dock. Even with two RU drop-offs right next to it, it's too much. I think AI is pretty mad at me for scouting him. He's trying to kill my scout.
Awaiting orders.
He does have a lot of interceptors, which is very standard. You will probably see your opponent doing stuff like this all the time.
Bursts are clear. Assembly underway.
But he's basically still on one patch, which just fills me with confidence because there's no way he's going to have enough to stop me. Now, I was talking and explaining something, so I've just started floating resources. You never really want to go over 1,000 in your bank. You want to spend as much as you can. And with this build specifically, when you're pushing out with this destroyer now, destroyers actually burn away RUs very slowly because they have a very high build time, but their cost is actually not that high. So it uses up your RUs very slowly. And so what I can now do is I can start building other things in tandem. Specifically, I'm going to build an advanced research module. You could also build a Corvette facility or something else. I'm going to build advanced research because it allows me to hit a technology I want to reach, which is improved manufacturing on the mothership, which will help me get destroyers out 30% faster, which is just amazing.
Course set.
Why did I free up my mothership and not my carrier? The reason I've done that is because the mothership is the one that is going to dump out a destroyer right on my opponent's position. If my mothership was way back here, the destroyer would have to slow boat it all the way along here, and it's not that much faster than the mothership, so I want to hit him hard and fast. Right, my destroyer's just about to pop, so I'm going to start getting the upgrades for it. Probably, it really depends what you scout. If I saw a lot of things that are threatening to destroyers, I would have probably got armor first. In this case, I didn't see anything like that, so I'm just going to get speed first, so I can hit as fast as possible.
Awaiting assignment.
My destroyer's just about to hit the field. Right, I'm going to launch from my carrier, because this is where my attack is going to begin. I also don't want a whole bunch of my interceptors to be way back here when the fight is happening over here. So it's time to launch these. Here's the destroyer. What is the timing? About 8 minutes. I didn't play that quickly. I didn't play that cleanly. So this destroyer is probably later than it could have been. And there are variations of this build which rush the destroyer a lot faster. As you can see, the destroyer was not the only thing I made. I made a lot of fighters. And I'm still making fighters. So this is obviously going to go down. This is 2 bombers, no problem. These are all interceptors. It's just going to be a complete massacre.
Group 2 reinforced. Strike group to battle position.
Down they go. Comes the next wing. Just a heads up as well, this is a good time to say this, don't use formations. Especially on Homeworld 2, do not use formations. They absolutely ruin fighters. You want mobility. You don't want to be caught in a big bulky formation that has trouble turning around. Formations worked in Classic because the units were slightly different, as in fighters could strafe while firing. They can't really do that in Remastered. There's another effect at play, actually. In Classic, units have insane bonuses for being in formation. I saw a destroyer from my AI opponent. That's very fast. Units will do like 30% more damage while in formation if you're playing Homeworld 1 Classic. Whereas we are in Remastered, and that's not the case here. So there's really no reason to use formations. So now I'm getting that improved manufacturing. Why am I getting level 1 mothership armor? I do not need that. Level 1 manufacturing's on the way. I'm going to leave a refinery back at the carrier position, and I'm going to start pushing it along with my carrier as well. I want all of my production to be as close as possible.
Strike group coordinates locked in. Standing by. Group 2 reporting. Docking with mothership. Group 2 copies. Mobile refinery.
This is interesting. Why has the AI built 3 refineries here? I cannot answer that question. Okay, but I'm not seeing any anti-fighter measures from my opponent here. So what I can do, well, there are gunships now, but it's a bit too late. I can just start hammering away at his collectors. There goes one.
Here we go.
I want to watch my fighters. This one's getting chipped away very quickly. This one's about to die.
Interceptor squadron complete.
Boom.
Group 2 reporting.
So moves like that to just cull my opponent's economy. He's running his collectors. I'm going to dock and then hit this patch back here.
Under attack. Strike group reports hostile contact.
And I'm pushing in with a fully upgraded destroyer. This destroyer doesn't have any armor upgrade, so my destroyer is absolutely going to beat it. And I left my refinery.
This is group 2. Destroyer complete.
Here's my second destroyer as well. And a flak frigate is no good. That's no good. Okay, the carrier's got nothing to do, so I'm going to build a frigate facility, and then we're also going to queue up 2 more collectors, because I might as well spend as much as I can, and I don't really have any military to build from this carrier, so with my free time, I'm just going to build more collectors. This destroyer's getting beaten up by mine. I need to stop my mothership from moving, otherwise this destroyer's going to get stuck trying to path away from her. It's very annoying, but that's just remastered for you.
Strike group coordinates locked in. Group 2 reports enemy contact.
As you can see, destroyers actually don't have that much DPS. The thing about destroyers that makes them good is that they have a lot of health and they're able to kite very well. If you want DPS, you're going to be making iron frigates. Or battle cruisers, of course.
Strike group coordinates locked in. Standing by. Group 2 reports enemy contact. This is group 1. Mothership.
Dun, da, 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 da. Right, so where can I put these extra collectors I'm building? Let's put them right here. Right in my opponent's face. The reason I'm doing that is because I can't be bothered to build another refinery. And my mothership has an IU drop off on it, so might as well make use of it, right? Okay, this destroyer starting to get beat up. I'm going to kite him backwards. Carrier frigate facility done. I'm going to build marine frigates because they don't need upgrading, and they can potentially just win me the game if I capture a destroyer or something. This destroyer's going down. The AI has been baited into building a lot of anti-fighter because it thought that was my unit composition, and it kind of is, but at this point, you know, it's time to switch off fighters, anti-fighter things, and deal with these destroyers that are just going to ruin you. I'm taking out more and more collectors. He was behind already, but now he's really, really behind. Okay, down that goes. There's a lot of anti-fighter coming for me, so I'm just going to run away. No need to take this fight.
Group 2 reports enemy contact.
Brilliant. Okay, so I should get a marine frigate. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to capture this carrier, because it's below half health, and marine frigates can actually capture up to 8 times faster if they have a low health target. It's based on the percentage of health that is left on the target, essentially. I've stopped making destroyers here. I'm starting to make carriers. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm beginning to float a lot of resources, and I don't really have anything to spend them on. I'm also mining a little bit extra with these bonus collectors I made. So the Marines going in for this carrier capture. What are these scouts? Oh yeah. So gunships and flak frigates are obviously really, really bad at dealing with destroyers. Let's take out these flags. If I take out all the flags, I can probably bring my fighters into the main fight again.
Carrier complete.
Carrier complete. Build another collector.
Mothership fire control tower complete.
Fire control's just finished.
Reporting. Group 1, copy.
Let's leave a carrier behind and
Marine
bring my
frigate
mothership up.
complete.
Group 1 receiving. New heading set.
Mothership underway.
Group 1 standing by. Awaiting assignment.
Oh, they got my marine frigate.
Supporting friendly units.
Yeah, flag frigates actually do surprisingly decent damage against armored targets.
Destination locked in. Copy.
People don't really expect it,
Reports
including
enemy
me.
contact.
I never expect it.
Copies.
Resource collector complete.
Berths are clear. Standing by. Move order confirmed. Confirmed. Group 6.
Okay, everything
reporting.
from my opponent is just falling here. And as you can see, this is a very threatening build, because if they are in this sort of scenario where they're still trying to deal with your fighters, the destroyers are obviously just going to run amok.
Copy. Group 2 copy.
Oh, let's see if I can capture this carrier now.
Locked in.
I think I've killed it by accident, haven't I?
Standing by.
I sure have.
Group 2 reports
Let's
enemy
capture a
contact.
flag frigate.
Standing by. Launching pods. Underway. Copy. Attack clearance received. Awaiting orders. Moving to destination. Resources downrange.
Resource collector complete.
Acknowledged.
Marine frigate complete. Order cancelled.
More marines coming out.
Underway.
Are marines always the best thing to be building in this scenario? I don't know. Not really. For my money, I expect against a better opponent than the AI, I would be making
Standing by. Strike group.
irons or torpedoes or something like that. You basically, this third unit choice that you're making here is absolutely based entirely on what your opponent has made to deal with your initial push.
Capture procedures enabled.
In this scenario, my opponent made just garbage units, so I'm free to make whatever the hell I want, which is marine frigates. I think marines are a decent choice though, because you don't need to upgrade them,
Awaiting orders.
and they can obviously be extremely valuable.
Supporting friendly units. Reporting. Frigate under attack. Go.
Let's see if we can get this.
Frigate lost.
Confirmed.
Oi, got
Going
it.
in.
Frigate lost.
Bulkhead secured. Push forward. Roger. Combat maneuver
Perfect.
confirmed.
Let's get a fire control in here as well.
Mothership
For people who are wondering, fire control increases both your damage and your accuracy.
Moving in.
For Hiigarans, I believe
Reporting. Group
it's
2 reporting.
7%.
Strike group moving into position.
It gives you a 7% bonus on these things.
Research
For
complete.
Vega, I think
New
it's
frigates
slightly more.
Available for construction.
Launching pods. Course set.
Alright.
Combat stations. Look
So now that
sharp.
the flags are gone,
Standing by.
this is not enough gunships. I
Ion
also believe they're not
cannon
upgraded. They are
Complete.
not. So the
Group 1
interceptors
reports
will
enemy
will
contact.
be able to
Group 2
beat them.
reporting. Resistance
And the
encountered.
mothership just went down. That was his last production ship, so that is the game.
Frigate lost.
Now this is just an AI,
Resources.
and that is true. However, this build will work against players, medium to maybe even upper level players.
Prepare for assault.
Destroyers are quite deadly, especially in a fire control.
Order cancelled.
Copy.
And as you can see, it was very easy to pull off. There was nothing specific that I did. I didn't do anything very fancy. In real games, you'll have to watch your interceptors quite a lot. You'll need to dock them when they get weak. I didn't really have to worry about that. But yeah, it's just an easy to pull off build. It's very simple in concept. The interceptors handle strike, the destroyers handle everything bigger. They cover each other quite well in that regard. And they're also, reasonably cheap units. They're reasonably easy to get to on the tech tree. They're easy to control. You just have to remember to kite your destroyers if they get weak. So if your opponent starts focusing down a destroyer, just tell him to attack while moving backwards. And that will increase his value immensely. You can also use collectors to repair destroyers. Don't forget that. For interceptors, you want to dock them when they start getting focused down, so they regenerate as well. And things like that. But you don't really have to worry too much about the micro if you're just getting started. Just try and get the build down. So my patches were saturated, I think it was 6-7 by the end, and I was eventually taking a third patch at the very end of the game. But you can see, I did all of that with just 2 patches of collectors. As long as your build is well thought out, and you're not buying all this extra stuff that you don't need, if your build is well thought out and well made and is quite lean, you can get away with 2 patches, and do a lot of damage against unsuspecting opponents. That was a double interceptor destroyer for Hiigaran. Maybe I'll make one for Vega next, who knows. Maybe comment? What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see Torpedo Frigate Rush? Do you want to see Vega, big macro play? Maybe something for Homeworld 1? Comment, hit me up on Discord, something like that. Anyway, I will see you guys next time, and I promise, there'll be a lot more videos to come very soon, and it won't be another year. Ciao, ciao.